What's up, you guys? So I think I'm gonna do a little series on here going forward called like my unpopular opinions, or maybe just my opinions. I don't know, because they might not be as unpopular as I think they are. But anyway, I'm gonna just highlight a bunch of things that I think like I would like to see going forward. What I think some of these companies, whether it's Marvel, DC, hell, even Star Wars, should not be doing going forward. And yeah, just give my overall little take and just kind of creating a conversation, see what y'all think. All right, let me know what you guys think about this. And for starters, I had to talk about Star Wars. Now this year, so for in fact, let me take it from the beginning. So for those that don't know, I've talked about it a couple times out here, but I grew up a Star Wars fan. So I was born growing up on the prequel trilogy that you see up here at the top, while enjoying the sequel trilogy you see at the bottom, next to me and whatnot, on VHS and whatnot. So this was a big part of my childhood, and I've always loved nerd things and nerd culture. So this was nothing to me. So when Disney bought rights and decided to say like, hey, we about to make a sequel trilogy, I was like, okay, cool. Now, if you guys don't know, George Lucas already wrote treatments for his sequel trilogy, and Darth Maul was going to be returning to be one of the big bads. So fast forward, we already know how the sequel trilogy went. We're not going to go into that. If you ask me, throw the whole trilogy away, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I think it's very interesting what Dave Filoni and some of them are doing now at Star Wars with the Maul show. And I'm not going to lie to you, Maul's probably like the most enjoyable thing I've seen of Star Wars in a while. I'm not going to act like I'm a diehard fan of every project, but I have tried to check out a lot of them. And so far, Maul's probably the best in a while. No cap. Like, I just got to be real. And what makes this show so dope is outside of hype moments like this, it's just the simple fact that we really get to see this progression of Maul's character, and we get introduced to concepts of what George Lucas wanted in his own way, you feel me? So I actually am really curious to see what they do with this show, and the character that really has us all on our toes is the character Devin Azara. She is right now our Darth Talon prototype, and I think, honestly, for Star Wars to survive, I wholeheartedly feel like whatever they choose to do story-wise going forward, she needs to be our main antagonist, and I'll tell you guys why. So, as I just said before, George Lucas already wrote down concepts of what he wanted his sequel trilogy to be like, and now that we're getting little small fragments of that into this new wave of Star Wars content, Darth Maul and Darth Talon were supposed to be the villains together. Darth Maul was going to be the leader, Talon the apprentice. Now what they have an opportunity of doing is, yes, Maul is out of the story. However, we don't really have a solid bad guy. I mean, Star Wars is kind of directionless. Anything post the sequel trilogy, and that itself was directionless. We don't really have an end game. We don't really have anything going on. So to have a character in the cuts, maybe doing her own thing, building her own empire after she leaves Maul, because we know there will be a split within these 15 years. I really think it would be great to have Devin kind of grow into her own version of Talon. The way they built this character in so many ways is almost like a foil to Ahsoka. And I think that's very interesting as well, because not only is she around the same age and could be a foil to Ahsoka as far as combat, she can also be a new threat for a whole new generation of Force users. She could be out there doing her own thing and not even really trying to follow the Sith. It could be something completely different, because if you could see in this show, Maul doesn't really consider himself a Sith. He still has their ideology because that's what he was raised with, but he doesn't consider himself one. So I think if they were to play with that aspect, a different type of Force, dark side Force group or whatever, and make Devin the new apprentice, it's keeping some of that Sith, mythology in her head, I think that could really work. And if you guys know anything about Darth Talon, she herself is a Sith assassin. She is a Sith apprentice. She is trained to kill and to be this ruthless assassin, almost like Asajj Ventress was, but a little bit more turned up. And she grew up in an era where there was one main Sith and a few different disciples, so she was that main one. So maybe she could kind of do something like this in the future of the Star Wars series. And the reason why I'm advocating for this so much, because like I said plenty of times, Star Wars doesn't really have a direction right now, and getting a character that could really have so much potential to be OP, do something familiar but do something new, could really help this era of Star Wars. And seeing a character also develop into a villain through TV and other forms of media could also be cool as well. Like, as we get the heroes built up, we get the villains built up. So I think that would be cool. And like I said, she'll be a great foil for Ahsoka. And as we all know, Ahsoka is getting her own second season of her TV show, which I think is supposed to be the last season, if I'm not mistaken. And even within that show, I know they're doing a lot of Thrawn things. It's in between the sequel trilogy, but that doesn't mean they can't use this show in the second season to set up things that happen after the sequel trilogy. And if Ahsoka is kept alive post this Thrawn stuff, I think her coming back post sequel trilogy would be great, or maybe even died off beforehand. Hell, for all we know, Devin could take out Ahsoka. That would be very interesting. A very powerful dark side user defeating a very powerful light side user. That would set the tone really, really well for this next era. I don't know, just my thoughts, just kind of giving my own little one to on where I think it should go. But I will say, and I think we can all agree, I think Disney needs to stop the rehashing of prequel era, original era timeline. We've seen a lot of the rebellions versus the whatever Empire, First Order, all that over and over and over again. So I think for Star Wars to survive, it definitely needs something new. The Starfighter movie, all the things that's come out about it sounds really, really interesting. Very simple. Take this kid to this side and meet this person, but we go on one hectic adventure as Force user. So I think it'll be cool. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see what happens after that. But let me know, what do you guys think about this? And again, I'm just doing my own little popular thoughts or popular opinion videos, and it's something I'm about to just play with. And I'm gonna do this with anime, comics, manga. Like, I want to do one for probably Boruto soon, and I definitely got a DC and Marvel one I want to do soon too. But let me know what you guys think. What are your guys' opinions on this? Star Wars fans, let me know. And please tap in, like this page, like my TikTok, like my YouTube, like Instagram, all that. Thank you guys. Peace.